Want to build a meal when you don't know what to make? We're gonna do it, or I'm gonna share it, but this is a sandwich edition. A typical problem you might run across is you don't know what to make for dinner or lunch, and you either have a bunch of ingredients or you have a bunch of leftovers. The common solution, or the most obvious solution, would be to you find a recipe or use a recipe to use up those ingredients, or use the takeout use the leftovers you have, or order takeout because you don't want the leftovers. Typically, when you get to the end of the week, leftovers aren't something folks want to have. I'm kind of different though. I look at those leftovers as an opportunity to come up with stuff that may or may not be really delicious. And here's what I found. I want to say 8 out of 10 times it's delicious enough for me to eat and enjoy. The other 2 times, yeah, it's a miss and I will eat it, but I'm not necessarily, rave about it. And I will eat it and it will be filling enough, but it's not something I'll make again. So my solution typically when I have a bunch of ingredients or I have some leftovers is to throw it all together and see what happens. Kid you not, that is my solution. But the thing is, I build it around what I call PVCYF or PVCFY. And I build it around protein, vegetables, carbs, some healthy fats, and yum. Otherwise, something to make it taste good or adds a satisfaction factor to it. So this could either be something creamy, this could either be something crunchy, just to add some either additional texture or additional spice or heat. It could also be something that falls into one of the other categories: your protein, your vegetables, your carbs, your healthy fats. It could be a combination of those things, or falls into any one category. The key is choosing one of those things to build everything around. And today I'm going to share how I do that with a sandwich. Now, how I land on a sandwich? Well, I've been on a bread kick of late, meaning I've been exploring different types of breads. Tried sourdough to make it. That's a video for a different day. But I've landed on crusty bread, and I'm not a crusty bread girl. And when it comes to sandwiches, I found that crusty bread for me works much better than a typical soft dough, with the exception of cocoa bread. If you're Jamaican, you know what that is. So, but for me, crusty bread, meaning it's slightly crusty, understand? Not heavily crusty where it takes effort to chew the outside, but it has that crust on the outside and is soft on the inside. I find that works for me. And I got this particular bread at Costco. It's cranberry walnut bread, and it's been quite an experience or a journey going through it and finding different ways to eat it. And I'm going to use it to make this sandwich. However, I am pairing it with something or building this sandwich around 2 things. The crusty bread, which is secondary, and primary is canned pink salmon. Now, the thing about when you have ingredients in your pantry or fridge and you don't know what to make with them is having easy to use ingredients or leftovers, meaning you don't have to do a lot to get it to be tasty or edible. It either comes directly out of the package ready to eat, or just with a few additions becomes an entirely different thing, or become an even tastier thing. Pink salmon is one of those staples that I keep in my food pantry, because usually when you're hungry and you don't really want to think about anything, or you're just so hungry that you can't figure out what to eat, sometimes having something like this, canned goods, make it very easy to come to a decision. So if I'm building a meal around protein, veggies, carbs, healthy fats, and something yummy, then starting with protein for me often helps me build everything else around it. So I'm gonna do that with this, and we're gonna make a sandwich, and this is what I build the sandwich around. So we are going to start there. So let's build that sandwich. So let's get our veggies ready, starting with the shallots. I'm using shallots here. You can use onions, is that what you want? Mince it up and get it into the bowl, and then we're gonna add some bell peppers, get those diced up and added to the bowl as well. And because this is what I have, some pickles, I just diced up and added it. It adds a little sweetness to the entire thing. And then for the lettuce, you want to shred your lettuce, and I like to do it this way: roll it up and then just slide the knife through it. You get nice shreds without damaging the lettuce. I mean, you're gonna mix it up anyway, but the idea here is to make it small enough so that it works well with everything else. And then now we're gonna add the dressing, is what I call yum yum sauce, which is basically just a dressing, an emulsified dressing made with vinegar, olive oil, Dijon mustard, some black pepper, salt, and fresh herbs. And we're gonna add that in, and I'm adding lemon juice here to brighten up the salmon. This is specifically for the salmon. It kind of adds a little brightness so you don't get as much rawness from the salmon. Mix that all together. It's going to look a little liquidy because the amount of sauce I used or dressing was probably a quarter cup, a little less than a quarter cup. And then set that aside. Now we're gonna get our bread ready. I like to toast bread, but feel free to not toast it or just eat the bread as is. I kind of like my bread toasty, so in addition to that crust, I'm gonna add a little extra crunch by toasting it. And because this is cranberry walnut, the bread has this purplish hue. Toast it however you can. I have an air fryer, I don't have a toaster, so this is what works, and I only give it a couple of minutes. Now I'm gonna then add the salmon into the veggie and dressing mixture. You could have added this before. I like to do it this way, incorporate everything. And now we're gonna assemble our sandwich, starting with the bread. But before we put the salmon on it, I like to add some avocado here. This is for a little extra creaminess, yumminess. Also, because I'm not adding any dressing per se to the sandwich. Some people like to add something like a base on the bread itself. Now we add the salmon and the veggies, or the salmon salad. Use as much or as little as you need to. And then I'm going to top it. And then I'm going to top it with Solomon Gondi, which is red herring paste, to give it a smoky flavor, to add a little smoke to it. This is also slightly peppery, spicy, so omit if you don't have it. And of course, pickled onions, because why not? Made a batch of it, so I'm going to use it. And then that's it. Put it together, and then let's dig into the sandwich. But first we have to slice it, and this is the part of cutting a sandwich that I'm not a big fan of, because once you start cutting it, then everything starts to squeeze out or ooze out and make a mess, but it can all be eaten. So there you have the salmon salad sandwich. Let's take a bite. The smokiness lifts the salmon. This is red herring, by the way. If you don't know what it is, it's called Solomon Gondi. This is a Jamaican herring paste. So this is a throw together, see what happens sandwich. I would say out of a 10, I would give this an 8.5. And the reason I'm taking a 1.5 points off is because I can't eat as much protein as I want with this bread. It's a good sandwich bread, but that squeeze that happens yeah, makes it not ideal to be a full enough meal. I would probably just eat the rest of it in from the bowl. The thing is, this can be eaten. This salmon with the dressing and everything in there, the shallot, the bell peppers, this could be eaten by itself. It could be eaten with crackers, but this is really good. This is what you do when you don't know what to make for lunch. Throw something together by building it around protein, vegetables, carbs, healthy fats, and something to make it taste good. So in terms of this meal, we've got the salmon, that's the protein. We've got the bread, that's the carb. Then we've got the veggies, the shallots, the onion, the bell pepper, the lettuce that I threw in there, the red onions. Then we've got the healthy fat, which is the avocado. And the yum is that smoked herring. The avocado is also making it yummy. The dressing makes it yummy. It has some fat as well. So that's an entire balance. This is a balanced meal in one. So on that basis, A+. So let me know if you try it. Salmon, I don't know what to call the sandwich other than let's throw it together. Happy eating.